and welcome back to my Astro Imaging Journey channel. And today I'm going to be doing a little unboxing again. One of the things that I've been toying with, and if you've seen some of my setup videos, you've seen two cables running out to the rig. One is electrical power, one is an Ethernet cable. So Ethernet cable goes from a USB hub transceiver that converts it over to Ethernet. There's another transceiver that connects up to USB, and that connects into the laptop. That allows me to run inside as opposed to sitting out in the cold like we did when we first started. And you know, it's great. The transceiver pushes, I think it's 168 feet on Cat5e Ethernet. I had a 100-foot Ethernet cord, and that reached to where I needed to get inside the house. Now, that's been working. You know, it's been working fine. Problem with that is now you got a cord that runs across the cable or across the floor that people can trip on. As you heard in one of the previous videos, you have a Roomba, so I'm constantly having to move that cable because I like to have the laptop sitting in front of me on the coffee table while I'm watching TV or whatever, so I can watch the imaging session go on. And if the Roomba, if I don't move that in the morning after the sun comes up and the imaging session's done and the Roomba kicks on, then it has fits because it wants to try to eat the cable. It's not successful, but it's still, you know, it ends up pushing the cord all over the place. So, and of course people trip over it, and you know, it's, I try to put it in places where it minimizes that potential, but it still can be a problem. So one of the things I've always thought about was using maybe a Raspberry Pi or something where I can put it out on the telescope and excuse me, and you know, basically remote desktop into it. I've seen other imagers on YouTube, they've got that set up, obviously with remote observatories. You know, it's not new, and I thought maybe that'd be something. My Wi-Fi signal here's good enough. It'll reach out to where the telescope is set up, so thought maybe let's try that. The problem is Raspberry Pi, not exactly the greatest with Windows, and with what I'm doing, I prefer Windows as opposed to Linux. I love Linux, but everything I have is Windows based. So that's what I wanted to go with. I wanted to go with the Windows PC. The other problem with the Raspberry Pi is storage capacity. And you know, you're limited to whatever SD card you can put on there. I wanted the ability to put a larger drive into it, and so that I could store locally. Because one of the things that I've thought about was, well, I do have a NAS. I could just have SGP when it's, or Backyard EOS saved to a virtual directory on the NAS, or network directory rather, network folder that's on the NAS. But if the Wi-Fi signal for whatever reason goes out, then it can't save the images, and what happens then? So why not save locally, and then I can transfer them up later. So to that end, started looking around and found mini PCs from Kodlix, And here's one of the boxes right here. As you can see, Kodlix. It's a fanless mini PC, model GN41. Fanless meaning there's no active fan used to cool the CPU. So, I already dropped something. So, that was a little long-winded way of saying my thought process. So, right on top, we've got the PC. So, let's pull that out. Alright, before we get to that, let's look at what else we have in the box. We've got an AC adapter. Got an HDMI cable. Looks like another HDMI cable. A mounting bracket. And some feet. Some stick-on feet. And that's everything that's in the box. So, of course, I would drop the PC and not the box. So let's grab this out of the bubble wrap, the anti-static paper, and here we are. Alright, so power, so let's go through what we have here, get in closer. So we've got power connection, hopefully this focuses in, I can't tell. We've got a power connection, maybe a reset button over here, VGA, HDMI, Ethernet, and two, those are black, so those are USB 2s. On the back side, let's see if we can get that in here. We've got two USB 3s. I believe that is an SD card slot, and over here we've got a USB-C. What I have read, and power button, what I have read is the USB-C is data only. So it's got everything that I wanted. As you can see on the back side here, we've got the two mounting holes for the bracket, and then this panel right here via these two screws right here. Let's see if we can get that. There's two screws down here. This little panel comes out, which allows you to put a 2.5 inch laptop hard drive into it. I believe you can go up to 2 terabyte, maybe. I believe the specs were, but it is SATA, so that will be nice. I have a couple spare external hard drives that I can pull that I'm not using, so I can slide one of those in there. So that's 4 USB ports. It is dual band Wi-Fi capable, and hopefully this will do what I want it to do. Should come preloaded with a copy of Windows 10 Pro on it, which will be great. So, and I've read that underneath the feet here and underneath this plate here, there's a set of screws so that you can take the cover off, and you can put in a SSD, not an NVMe, but a SATA SSD mini card internally. I believe 256 gig or maybe 512 is the limit on that, but I'm probably just going to go with the traditional platter hard drive for now. Should be able to do 4K display, but I'm not too worried about that. All I'm worried about is, will Windows run on it? Will it have auto power on? That's going to be the key. Will it power on automatically, which then I can set Windows up to automatically log in, and then from there I should be able to, once it's powered on, auto logged in, I should be able to remote desktop into it and start my imaging session, and everything will be done on this as opposed to my laptop, because that's one of the things that I'm kind of backlogged on, is processing. I've been doing a lot of processing videos lately, and I still have quite a few more targets that I've completed. I just need to process. Hopefully, and I don't like to do the processing when I'm imaging, simply because I don't want to take the resources away from the imaging and potentially mess up the imaging session. Or if something happens and the laptop crashes while I'm doing the imaging session, that could be a bad day. So, hoping this will work. Like I said, it's a little bit bigger than the size of my hand. It's relatively lightweight. It's actually lighter weight than, let me grab my OAG that's still sitting over there. So, the OAG that we've been having back focus issues with, that I'm still waiting on parts on. Yeah, this is lighter. So, it's not metal. It is a plastic encasement. We got vent holes on the top here, some vent holes, slats on the side, and then obviously vents through here as well. So hopefully I'll be able to mount this onto the rig somewhere. Not sure where yet, but one thing I might be able to do is take this mounting bracket, attach it, and then attach this to my rails. Maybe something like that, where the OTA sits like this and this is on the rail on the bottom. Give me a little bit more weight towards the front. All the weight's in the rear right now. But how would that do with the heat? Obviously it's going to be in the middle of the night, so summertime, I don't know. I'll see where I can mount it. Another good part about this is, like I said earlier, it is dual band Wi-Fi, so should not have a problem there. And 4 USB ports. The hub that I'm using right now is 4 ports. I'm using all 4 ports. We've got the guide camera, the mount, the imaging camera, and the moonlight focuser. So the nice thing about this, though, if it works, is I'll be able to fully utilize the USB-C, or excuse me, the USB 3 capabilities because a lot of the imaging cameras now are coming with USB 3. So that should help minimize image download time during the session, which should help out a little bit. Get a couple extra frames every night, as opposed to the USB 2 that I'm using now. So yeah, kind of stoked. I'm going to try and get this set up later. I'm not sure when. You know, us gearheads, we just want to jump right in and get it going. But what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to get this set up, get Windows going, and get remote desktop working on it. Then I might actually do an installation video where I'm going through and installing all of my software and getting everything transferred over. And then what I will do is I will still use my USB transceiver for the first couple sessions. I'll connect it into here like I had with the laptop this way. I can have it sitting over by the door that the cable comes in, and have it over there in case I need to do anything with this before, and make sure it works before I rip off the transceiver from the telescope and try to get this mounted. So I want to make sure this is working first before I rip any of that apart. One other thing I want to look at is I want to look at that power supply. So I've got AC power out there, that's not a problem. What I want to look at here, input is, 110 to 240, that's standard. Output, 12 volts. That is awesome. So, in theory, if I could get the right connector, I could go straight to a battery if I was using this remotely and not have to worry about having AC power. So that's good. All right, hopefully this isn't a bad edit, but I completely forgot to mention something. The price. You can get ones, they've got smaller models, only has like 3 USB ports, no USB-C, no hard drive capability, for like 170, 180 bucks. I wanted the 4 ports, the dual band USB, or excuse me, dual band Wi-Fi, and the ability to put in a hard drive. So that brought it up to $219, I believe. And the other factor, they did have ones, beefier processor, more internal storage, because this one comes with 8 gig of memory and 64 gigs of internal storage for the operating system. They've got them 4 gig of memory, 32 gig, up to 8 gig of memory and 128 gig of internal storage. You know, most of the prices I was seeing ranged from about 170 to 330 when I was looking at these. This particular one here, the GN41, was $219. I wanted to ensure 4 USB ports and internal hard drive capability. I wasn't too concerned with the USB-C. There was a higher end model that was basically this one, but $320, where the USB-C was also a display port. That would have been nice because I do have a portable USB-C monitor that I use for work. It's personal, but I use it for work because it gives me added room when I'm needing to do work, and when I'm doing editing and stuff. I use it on my other laptop, so since it is portable, I'd be able to just take it out to the telescope, connect up a USB wireless keyboard and mouse and that monitor, and it'd be a little bit more transportable in that regards. But as it stands now, I wasn't too concerned about that. I was more concerned about USB ports, internal storage, and the display. I'll figure that out as I need it. So it does have Bluetooth as well. Forgot to mention that. So if you have a Bluetooth keyboard, mouse, hey, great. So hopefully, you know, this is, I think it's a 4-core, capable of going up to 2.4 gigahertz, but most of the benchmarks when I was looking at these under normal operating conditions seem to run around 1.6 gig to keep the temperature down. So yeah, hopefully this will work for me. Again, Kodlix GN41, $220 on Amazon, and yeah, hopefully it'll work. So I'm gonna go try to put the hard drive in this. Actually, I'm gonna try to get Windows working on this first, then I will put hard drive in and get everything set up, hopefully to use this on my next imaging session, which might be in 11 days, who knows. But yeah, so I want to say thanks everybody for watching. Hope you found it informative. Please stick around for the outro. Clear skies. Have a good one. Thanks for watching yet another episode from the Astro Imaging Journey channel. Really appreciate your viewership. In our upper right, we have the latest video that I have posted prior to this one. Down in the lower right, we have what YouTube thinks you will enjoy. Below is a subscription link. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you so choose, ring that bell if you want to get notified of something new, and as always, thank you. Clear skies. Remember to